All right. Tell us about yourself, Shawn.
All right, my name is Shawn Powers. This is my beautiful wife, Amanda Powers. We joined in 2019. Funny story, I actually used to office on the other side of this wall here. And on a night like tonight, we would get invited to come over here, and I would respectfully decline, thinking I do not need your snake oil. So fast forward to spring of 2015, I was coaching a soccer team, and Kevin and Lori's youngest daughter got put on our team, and became friends with them. Our kids all went to the same school. Amanda at the time was working part-time, and she was going to all the school events, and she's like,
Hold that up higher.
Those Chalmers, they're at every event. I wonder what they do for a living.
They're right there, Kevin, right?
I wasn't sure if it was legal or not.
So we asked some questions, found out they were into multifamily, doing lifestyles, and we just kind of watched from afar. And finally, about 2019, I was ready to leave IT, and it was time to start asking some questions.
So you were full of it back then?
Yeah.
How many people, watch this, how many people are in IT in this room? There's always a bunch of y'all.
It's going to be a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of nerds
Either
in this room.
IT or TI, one of the two.
Yeah, one of the two.
Or sometimes both.
Yeah, right. So we joined. We went to the 2-day in 2019. Immediately took the passive class, did the lead with the plans of immediately getting into our first deal. And like the other gentleman that was presenting, there was a little thing called COVID that slowed that down. So we kind of hit the pause button and waited. And then we found this property in the summer of 2021.
Okay.
And how'd you find it?
So Carolyn actually was able to present that to us, and it was actually one of the first deals I actually kind of ran the numbers on, and so it worked out really well. I ran the numbers, and I was like, let's do this.
And for those that don't know, Carolyn, he's referring to Carolyn Putney. She's one of our agents here at Lifestyles.
Okay, cool.
So go back real quick. So one of those pictures is kind of funny. That bottom left-hand picture, I assume it's on
You're
your
drinking?
left. Yeah, where I'm drinking a Sprite, maybe.
Oh, okay.
So that was actually on the way back. My brother and I were on a motorcycle trip coming back from North Carolina, and that's where I actually signed the contract on the Cedars on a rest stop in Tennessee. So that was pretty cool.
That is cool. There you go. Awesome.
So, so the Cedars is 32-unit apartment complex in Cedar Hill.
Who knows where Cedar Hill is? There you go. That's up here for you guys. Okay.
And this apartment is right near kind of their downtown area, so it's really, you can walk to their downtown. So it's a really nice little area. It's kind of been revitalized. It's got 16 one-bedrooms, 16 two-bedrooms. So we purchased it for, I'm used to being really loud, so I usually don't need these things.
But you got to remember, it's not just the people in the room. It's the people online.
Sorry,
and the
guys.
people from California are hard of hearing.
All right.
Well, no, it's farther away.
Yeah.
So we purchased the property for $3.15 million, and we had an out-of-pocket of $1.2 million, which included that $200,000.
Hold on, let's slow down a second. Here's why. How many people in this room got $1.2 million? I know we do, but most of you don't. You understand? Did you buy this by yourselves?
No, sir.
Do you have some partners?
Few.
How many?
29 of them.
29 of them. 29. Here's another thing, because I have people watching from all over. Are they all from Dallas?
No.
Any from out of state?
Yes.
Could you name some of the states for the people listening?
Alaska.
That's one good one. There's Alaska.
Can you see Russia from there?
Maybe. I haven't asked them. I know there's one from Alaska. I'm not sure where some of the other ones are at. I can't think of that.
Most are Texas.
Yeah, most of them are Texas.
But we've met a few from out of state.
Now I'm going to ask a couple questions, because remember, I have new people here who've never been here before. Has every one of your investors came out here and visited a property with you guys?
None of them have.
None of them have. Not even the ones that live up here.
No.
Are any of your investors in the room tonight?
Yes.
If you're in this deal, raise your hand real quick. Anybody? So see some of the people in the room. They didn't even visit. You didn't, Kevin. You didn't even go out to the property.
There's one.
Oh, he did go. Kevin, I know would have to go. Okay. Okay. I figured that. But that's my point. Now, could you answer one more question?
Yes,
Because
sir.
1.2 million, that's a lot of money.
Yep.
What was your lowest investor in this deal? How much money?
I think we did 20,000 was the lowest, and we initially started with 25 being the minimum, but we wanted to let as many people into the deal as possible, so we kind of asked some people to back off on their investment, and we were able to go down to 20.
Who likes that he gave the little guys a chance? Give him a hand for doing that. I love that they did that. That's one of the big things for me is, if I show you and my mentors show you, we show you how to become millionaires. Remember when you were new and you didn't have a lot of money? Let the little guys, the nurses, the truck drivers put in their 25, 50 grand, whatever they have, so they can get involved. Who likes that we do it that way? Yeah, so give them a hand for doing that. That's huge.
So the 200,000 in rehab, the property was in pretty good shape. So on these pictures you see here, one of the first things we did out of the gate was clean up the property, clean up the trees. The trees were leaning on the buildings. It was really nasty. And so we just went through, cleaned those up, cleaned up the gutters, and literally within weeks, we already had residents of the apartment complex thanking us for taking care of the property, and they appreciated it.
Awesome. Okay.
So these are the March financials. I don't know how deep you want to go in here. And also these pictures here, that was one of the other rehab projects. The lighting was horrible. There were some lights that didn't work. Some lights were on all the time. It was just a mess. So we went through.
Now, does everybody understand, when this is your home and your kids are out there playing, do you want a dark property? No. So that makes people feel more comfortable because these aren't complexes. One thing we teach here is we turn them into communities. Who likes that idea? We want this to be a thriving place, best product, best price, and they're following the model that they were taught. Now, I know there's a lot of gobbledygook here when you're new, and you're not going to understand all this stuff, but I'm going to break it down step by step this weekend. There's certain numbers that are going to matter to you. So if you're brand new, the one number that's going to stick out on this page is cash on cash return. Who'd like to make a 10% return tax-free and do nothing? That's the number that should matter when you're a new person, okay?
Yep. And one of the other things in those pictures, we redid the parking lot because you couldn't even see you couldn't even see the stripes before. It was pretty bad.
Right. Okay, cool.
You want me to hit on any of those numbers? So if you were to take, you remember we bought the property for $3.15 million. We've owned it for 6 months. If you were to take and get its current value based on those numbers, it's at $4.8 million based on January, February, and March's numbers. So it's already had a huge improvement in just
It already
6
went
months.
up a lot, yeah. Just making those little changes, making a community, huge in the end.
Yep.
So, cool.
So here you're just seeing some pictures. This was one of the first units that we did. We brought this up to a premium level, which is kind of means that we put in new flooring, went with a new paint scheme, added a microwave into the kitchen, redid the plumbing fixtures in the bathroom, and that was it. And we were able to charge at least a $100 premium on each one of those units, and we've done 4 of those so far.
Who agrees the one on the left is ugly and dated and the one on the right looks 10 times better?
No, wait for the next one.
Oh, really? But wait, there's more.
You mean you got rid of the little scallop thing over the sink?
Why did you?
That's funny
Why
that
did you keep that blue carpet?
Is that blue?
That looks blue.
That's a mat.
Throw rug. Okay.
That's funny that you mentioned that, Don, because everybody's like, you need to remove the little squiggly thing above this kitchen sink. It dates
Yep.
it. So we did that. Actually, it was my sister-in-law that did that.
Yep.
But so there's another one. We took out the half wall, so we really haven't had to do a whole lot of major. Removing a half wall was probably the most major thing we've done.
And you painted the cabinets, right?
Painted the
So a
cabinet.
lot of times, they look dated. They all look 70s. Just by painting them makes a world of difference.
Painting and adding new light fixtures. A lot of them didn't have a light fixture in the center of the living room. So you'd walk in and immediately, the apartments were just dark. So just
Right.
putting that ceiling fan in there with lights was huge.
Cool. Wait, how much of this work did you do yourself?
None. Well, that's maybe in the very beginning I wanted to do some of it.
Yeah, you're like-
And then I quickly.
Yeah, you
let
put in
everybody else do it.
one ceiling fan and go, okay, enough of that
I
shit.
did do one ceiling fan, and
I
that's
know. We all got to do it one time, get it out of our
What you gotta
system.
do.
And then there's a bathroom. As you can see, there's a drastic difference between left and right.
Yeah, I would be willing to eat out of that bowl there.
And that's not the grossest one I have so far.
Wow, that's the same tile I use in mine. You know that? I know, it does look like mine, doesn't it?
I may have borrowed some people's ideas. I'm not
And we
very
love
creative.
when you steal our ideas. Who likes the idea we all steal from each other? This is the one thing cool about lifestyles you don't realize when you get in these apartments. All of us are willing to open our books to each other and share everything. Isn't that true?
Absolutely.
So who likes the idea that we have that abundance mentality? Now you think in the outside world, if the guy over here owns an Exxon and this guy owns a Sunoco, do they share that kind of information? But here at Lifestyles we do, and that's why they all do so well.
Yeah, this afternoon there were probably about 40 of us in a room down the hall here sharing
Oh, yeah.
everything about our properties, about operations.
Yep. We do this every single month in every city. All these what's called lead investors, guys and girls like this, that put together these deals, we open our books to each other and say, what can we do better? Who likes that idea? And that way we all grow together. It's really huge. Okay, so here's your projected returns.
Yep. So these numbers are based off of January and February and March of this year. So you can see, you can see the numbers there. I'm not going to read them off to you, but you'll notice the mortgage goes up in year 2 and year 3. That's because we have 1 year of interest only.
Yeah, so I'll explain that in basics to new people. The lender said, this property is in rough shape. It's a piece of garbage. So we think you're going to barely scrimp by. So they gave them interest only that first year. After the second year, the mortgage goes up because now they have to pay down the principal. Okay? But in the end, it's what's in it for me, right? How much am I making? This is the returns you'll make annualized each year. Who'd be okay with that tax-free? Still good money. And you get paid out quarterly is what they'll do once it's stabilized. Okay?
Yep, and then our plan going into this was to hold it for 13 to 24 months. So we're showing 3 years worth of data here, but we'll probably sell it this next year.
So what did I say? What's our goal? To double our money every 3 years. Who likes that idea? Does it sound like they're going to be doing that? Do you want to see what their estimated returns are now on that 3-year mark? Which would probably be sooner, right? Yeah. Because you want to go bigger, right?
Yep.
Bigger is better.
Yep.
Okay. So here's what their estimated return is for them and their investors.
Yeah, so if you look at that, again, we had $1.2 million out of pocket. If you look down there, if we sell at the end of year one, we'll have $921,000 of equity capture to return to the passive investors on top of their investment. So that is not their money that's in that dollar amount.
Yep.
So if we were to project that out for 3 years, we would have a projected return of $1.7 million to the passives, which equates to a 141% return on their investment.
Who'd be okay with that? What's the technical term for that? Peeing your pants exciting, as you guys did it. Exactly what we teach. So it doesn't matter if you put in 25 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand. Now, I want you to understand, all those 29 or whatever passive investors they have, how much work did they do? Nothing.
Sent in a check.
They sent it, yeah. They mailed them checks. That's all they did. Now, who was there doing all the work? These people, you understand? So they're the ones that are doing all the work while the rest of the people are just making great money. So it doesn't matter if you want to learn how to be a person that puts these deals together, we can teach you that. You want to buy one by yourself with no partners, that's called an IRO, we can teach you that. Or who likes the idea of just putting money in a deal, making a return, not doing shit? We can teach you that as well, okay? So you decide which is right for you, okay? But who'd be happy with over 100% return? Yeah. What if you did this 1, 2, 3, 4 times? Would your lifestyle be better? Take whatever you have right now in your 401k, your IRA, your TSP, your 403b under Joe Biden's great economy and make 141% return. Would you be okay with like that? Life-changing. Give me a hand. It's huge.
So what did we do to increase the NOI? Honestly, with the rents, they were really low, so we just raised the rents to be more in line with the neighboring properties. What else we got there? We did do there was some minor interior and exterior deferred maintenance that we took care of. And again, last week I even got a resident just thanking us for caring about the property and taking care of it, making it something that they're proud to live in.
And you guys, they did rubs. So if you're new, you don't know what rubs is. They hire massage therapists. They give everybody a back rub, and they all end up with a happy ending.
Wrong.
No? Okay.
No.
No? Okay.
No, that's
I'll
not
teach you what that means this weekend.
In a nutshell, basically, we're just charging back to the residents what the natural gas bill is, and also for the trash service.
We are in Texas. We have tacos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other thing, we added a few reserved parking spots. We were able to do a credit builder service for the residents if they want. If they pay their rent on time, that actually gets recorded on their credit to help them with their credit. And actually, we found about 7 pets that were unidentified when we took over the property. So that a little bit of additional rent money coming in.
So these were pets that were there that weren't on the books.
Correct.
They weren't just like wandering around unidentified.
Yeah.
We said that. Yeah.
We made everybody take a
Guys,
pet. So
just so you know, we love pets. You know why we love pets? We can make more money. You know what we hate? Children. I can't charge more.
And then the other thing we did to help with the NOI, honestly, was just reduce operating expenses. A good example is the prior property management company was paying $500 a month for the phone service that was only being forwarded to their answering service. I'm doing the same thing for $38 a month. So finding opportunities
Just being
like that.
smart, yeah.
Just finding ways to save money.
Was this what we call a mom and pop?
No.
No? Wow.
Sometimes the big corporate guys are bad at it, too.
It was a corporate company, but it was just one of their smaller properties, and so that's not
So
something
they just weren't paying attention.
No.
That's what they were.
They were absolutely not paying.
Awesome.
So this allowed us to, we had some of the same friends that we have today we've had for a while, but, just being here with Lifestyles allowed us to improve those relationships and create new relationships with like-minded people and then just get better return on our investments.
Why don't you have a quote up there from your cousin Austin?
Yeah, baby.
Man,
We should put that at the end.
yeah.
You should have. That'd be
I
awesome.
thought that time frame had passed already. So short-term goals, we're already starting to look for our next deal. Starting to evaluate deals, hope to find one soon. As soon as I do that, I do want to retire from the corporate world, so that'll be positive. And then just continue to learn more about property management. I'm kind of a process guy, so I've really tried to make sure that I'm putting together processes in this smaller deal, so when I get a bigger deal, I've already got that set up and I can kind of focus on the operations.
Yeah, we find this very common. Some of our best lead investors, they come from the IT world, or they'll be accountants. They're people who understand a process and management, and they can form teams and do that. So it's just a good gateway to get into this industry.
And then long-term goals is just build a team that can help support the additional properties that we buy, and then just be able to retire from a corporate world.
Okay.
Here's our team. Mike Spots was a mentor. He was great. Answered a lot of dumb questions I had in the beginning.
He was here earlier. Is he here still?
I haven't seen him in a
No,
while.
he's
I think
out.
he cut out.
He took off.
But the
Okay.
mentors are great. I mean, no question is too dumb, and I asked a lot of them. Carolyn was our realtor. She was great. And then the team, one that's missing there is John Simpson from Swifty. He was great with the website. I forgot to put him on there. I apologize
Okay.
to him. Ricardo, was
wave.
great. He's here. So there he is.
There he is.
You see that guy right there, and Paul next to him?
Yeah.
They gave us several $1 billion between San Antonio and Dallas for our members buying apartments. So those are the kind of people you want to know.
So I asked Mike Spots a lot of dumb questions. I really asked Ricardo a lot of dumb questions, and he was great at helping me through that.
Cool.
And then, that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
Oh, and then we got Nate Roberts. He's here too, or he was, helping us with tax, and he's been great.
Cool. All right. So, do you want to take a couple questions?
Sure.
Do we have any questions in the room? Yes, we do. Okay, hold on. Yeah. That was my most negative guy in my seminar. I remember him.
And an Aggie.
He is an Aggie. He was very analytical.
What was the occupancy rate when you bought it and versus now?
100% and 100%. And we've really had no problems renting it. There in the
I'll answer
beginning,
that.
we would receive
Great question. Well, you can
5,
ask it.
6 prospects a day. The longest I held a property the longest I had a unit that wasn't occupied was over Christmas, and so it was unoccupied for maybe 2 weeks until we got into the first part of the year. And honestly, I can't get anybody to move out of the 2 bedrooms because I'm dying to do a rehab on one of them, and nobody will move out.
If it was a senior property, they only move in once.
Bad joke. Yes, sir.
As a first-time lead, did you find it difficult to get people to invest with you, or do you not have a problem raising
Not at
funds?
all.
That's a great question, yeah.
No, with Podium, it's really changed the game on being able to connect passive investors with leads. Like I said, in the beginning, I had to cut it off cut off the subscriptions pretty early, so I could let in those that did apply for being able to be a passive investor in the deal.
And let me give you a little bit of advice on this with these first-time leads. Who do you think is glued to the hip with their mentor the most? First-time lead. Who has to prove themselves? Who's going to put the most sweat equity in a small property where they don't have all the full-time staff of a large property? Does that make sense? So I invest a lot of time with first-time leads, so don't be afraid of that. So, okay?
Well, and they're motivated to get
Perform.
in, get out, move on, right?
That's right.
Yeah, they're not going to hold a property for 10 years, are they? They're going to hold it a shorter period of time because they want to get to a bigger one where they have bigger staff.
Yep.
So, great question. You want to do one online? One or two? Two? Okay, go ahead.
All right. So first question was from Tommy. He said, Shawn and Amanda, how much of your personal money was put into the Cedars?
Okay, great question.
We put in $182,000 into this deal.
Okay, and just so you know, we have rules here at Lifestyles Unlimited. I'll talk about that this weekend. A first-time lead has to put in 15% of the capital raised. In other words, they have to have skin in the game. Who likes to require that? So they're putting their hard-earned money in themselves. Okay? Great question.
Thank you. Great question here from Ryan. He said, any benefit to being in multiple multifamily deals with 25 or 50K investments versus being in fewer deals with larger investments of, say, 100,000?
Okay, I'm going to answer that because they're going to say, I want you all to put $500,000 in my deal, right? Here's the logic of why I want you to be in multiple deals. Can people get divorces? Can people die of COVID? So there's a human factor, you understand? I don't want all your money in one bucket that way. Also, I don't want you all in one city. Why? Natural disasters. Could it be a hurricane here? Could it be an ice storm here where a whole building's down, so you might not have cash flow until you get insurance proceeds? So different areas of the country as well. That's my personal recommendation. Now, if you have millions, $100,000 chunks is fine, but if you only have $100,000 to work with, 50 here, 25 here, 25 here, it's more logical. But again, I will teach you more of that in the details this weekend. Okay? Great questions. That it? We're good to go? Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. I really appreciate it.